Yeah.
All right. Rock and roll.
Rock and roll. Does anybody have a guitar?
Yeah. You can play really bad music. It's fine. It's bad karaoke. Remember that.
Leonard, you can do
on the
the
table.
air guitar. Hey, Leonard, you can do the air guitar, right?
Okay.
Yeah, Leonard, why don't you do air guitar? Okay, yeah, that sucks. So Leonard, for the official recording here, Leonard, why don't you kick us off, kind of doing the hey, we're live from
back.
Congress.
Say hi.
Hello, Rob, how are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
I can't hear you, but I can say hello to you.
Yeah.
That's
Okay, now
right.
get out of here.
I know.
Dude, this has been happening to me all week. It's like
That's what
crazy.
happens. That's what happens.
Yeah.
Kick us off, Leonard. Leonard. So why don't you kick us off and say, hey, we're live from Mobile World Congress, blah, 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 for IoT.
Yes, okay. Yes, we are live here at Mobile World Congress 2024 in Barcelona. Remember, it's pronounced Barcelona, not Barcelona.
Nobody does that, though.
And it's like madness. It's crazy. It's like, it is actually pretty crazy. Look, it's 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
And the place is still packed. And oh, by the way, I got to give props to the folks at Ciena.
Yeah.
I'm at their booth and just basically getting free drinks and, you know, having some hors d'oeuvres.
It's all about the free drinks.
Right?
Yeah.
But you know what? I got to say one thing, man. Mobile World Congress is not the same without Rob Tiffany.
Of course.
I know.
Oh,
I know.
wow.
Everything is not the same without Rob.
Well, wow,
Scary part.
that's touching. I'm really.
You know, it's like I'm making a scene here. It's like crazy. People are like freaking out that I'm like talking to you guys here. But
there's
yeah, welcome everybody.
There's a lot of analysts, you know, looking like they're talking to themselves and they're crazy people as they walk around. I've seen lots of those videos. Hey, everybody, look at here. I'm talking to these amazing people who've never been here before, and they think the world. Yeah. Anyway, it's crazy. So you know, so you're at the end of the day on Wednesday. So Mobile World Congress is really winding down, but as you said, there's a lot of people around still. You know,
I think it's still going to be pretty hot, man. I think there's going to be a lot of people here still on Thursday, and I'm looking forward to a break, man. You know, smaller crowds. You cannot walk through the halls. It's like almost impossible. There's so many people. Yeah, and they'll probably next year they'll probably expand. I suspect, and you'll have what's that? 4 years from now?
4 years from now? Yep.
Yeah, they'll probably have to kick the startups over to whatever Fira
back
week.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Like the old days.
So that you have to freaking roll in a stupid bus to get over there. Yeah,
right.
I always hated.
I always hate that too.
Yeah,
but at least
like
it wasn't. But at least it wasn't as stupid as when the Windows Phone people thought it was a good idea to have the whole Windows Phone event over at the hotel, you know, Ray Juan Carlos, which was nowhere near the event. I'm sure people want to ride buses to go see our new phone. Nobody came.
Oh yeah.
Nobody wants.
That's kind of lame.
No, it is lame. It was, you know, you spend millions of dollars and you decorate this hotel and you have all this nice stuff, and it's like you're waiting for all the people to show up, and because nobody wants to leave Fira Gran Via, you know?
Yeah.
So maybe that's fine.
Hey again.
First time. Hey there.
Yeah, good to have you back on, man.
Yeah, I know. I've been missing you guys. It's just been crazy trying to find time on a Wednesday, but today I'm open, so glad to be here again.
Good to have you back, bro.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
I follow some of your sets. You guys have been having a lot of fun.
We are having.
Yeah. Hey. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Keep talking, guys. All right.
That was awkward.
Okay. Good to see you.
Hey, Marc.
I know. It's like,
What do you do, Leonard?
Marc, why don't you tell us? Marc, why don't you
How much I
us
sucked last night?
give us a recap of IoT Stars,
no.
Marc?
So yeah, we had 100, almost 120 people joining Estrella Damm venue. I think it was a fantastic space for the IoT Stars again, where we celebrated 5 editions. And it was actually, I really enjoyed the content that everyone provides. So we had, first of all, a company based in, where the founder is based in Barcelona. It's a German company, where they were speaking about how IoT devices speak about geolocation. So usually humans don't speak the same language than GPS trackers. So they were explaining that they have an API and they help companies to translate what machines say about geolocation. Then we had, if I'm not wrong, the panel discussion with Blues Wireless, Soracom, and Multitech.
Okay.
And this year we made a little change, so we enabled the audience to vote on the topics that the panel might talk about. You like it, Leonard?
Power to the people.
So yeah, power to the people.
Give them voting rights.
Democracy.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that was fun. After that, we had Itamar from Monogoro speaking about software. How do you call it? Software.
Software defined something.
Software defined
communication.
Communications.
Communications. Okay.
Yeah, software defined communication, and actually people really like it. Hold on. And finally, we had a weird guy joining on stage called Leonard Lee.
Oh, bad idea. Hey, party people.
Random, so is he just getting random people? And
Yes, he is. We can't hear him anyway. Yeah, he's a weirdo.
So actually, a lot of people told me that they really love Leonard's pitch. Actually, he called me some minutes before IoT Stars because he was late, and what he told me is, "What do you want to talk? That IoT is dead?" And then I started this way. No, actually, Leonard just called me some minutes ago asking, "So should we change the name?" And so, it was funny that the people just was interacting from the audience.
That's fun.
And yeah, so he gave a very good, actually, kind of summary of what we do at IoT Coffee Talk and some of the conclusions that we got here. And I don't know how that happened, but our last IoT Coffee Talk got viral.
Yeah, it did.
So a lot of people stopped me by on Mobile Congress to talk about the last episode.
Yeah, you know what? It's sad to say, but I think it's like the news business. Whenever there's a plane crash or some horrible news, that's when people want to watch. And the fact that last episode was about IoT Central dying and all that talk, a whole lot of people were interested in that. And you're right, it did go viral. Yeah. So maybe that's our secret sauce. We need to find some bad, horrible news every week about somebody in IoT, and then people will be excited about it.
Like the news is about that, right?
It is.
In the US, but at least here in Catalonia, it's about that, about bad things.
The news is about how many murders did we have today? How many, all this bad stuff. And so, I guess that worked for us.
Yeah. So, hey, Marc, how did I do? Because I felt like yesterday I babbled, or it was Monday, right? It was on Monday.
Yes.
Did he just disappear?
Yeah. Today it's Wednesday. Yeah, that was 2 days ago. Yeah. I think you did a great job. You were trying to explain the first, second, and then you were at some point the third.
I forgot the fourth. Yeah. And then I went too long. But this guy, he stole my punchline. He stole my joke. I can't believe that. So I was supposed to get up on stage and just say, hey guys, I have bad news. IoT is dead, you know? And then I said, IoT is dead, but, you know, now is the time for generative AI, you know, and Marc should change everything from IoT Stars to generative AI Stars, and then friggin' Ray Ozzie in the back was like, yeah, it was like hilarious.
Well,
I had a chance to meet him, and he's a really cool guy. Actually, Ray and Alistair were the first company, or Blues was the first company that I met for MWC 2024. They were the first big thing that I got, so it was pretty cool, and it was great to meet Ray. And I'm hoping both of those guys come on the show.
Yeah,
they're really cool.
Yeah,
absolutely. I'm here, Ray. You're watching this, I'm sure. See you at IoT Coffee Talk.
Yes, here, miércoles. Yes, today.
What's happening out in Mobile World Congress around satellites? Is there a lot of satellite discussion going on?
You sound kind of echoey.
Oh, I do.
Yeah, you're very far away.
I think that's the first
sound
time
like
ever,
100
too,
times better.
like really,
that's 100 times better.
Yeah.
Yes,
Much better.
I was going to ask what's going on with satellites at Mobile World Congress this year, Leonard. Anything exciting going on? NTN stuff?
Yeah, I think there's like a lot of hype. A lot of people, I think, just super curious. But I just bumped into a gentleman. His name is Leonard, who works on. He worked on the original Project Loon, the Google Project Loon Apps thingy, and he just unloaded a bunch of reality on my ass when I had a chat with him, and I think a lot of the satellite guys are going to be up for a rude awakening because things like power, transmit power, capacity, those are all like really huge problems, but they're not being talked about at the moment because I think people are really enamored with the idea of like satellite and making something of it. But I mean, when you talk to him, the guy just like friggin' lays out the physics for you. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I love about Mobile World Congress is you can bump into these guys who've done it, been there, and they give you the details. They share their experience, and they give you their what I think is a much more grounded perspective on where things are going versus all these folks that are just floating marketing bullshit. So yeah. So how's that for an answer? Are you happy?
Sounds good.
You're
yeah.
Done? All right. Good.
I saw that Qualcomm announced their new X80 modem thing with built-in satellite NTN and
yes, and I'm glad that you brought that up because I think all that stuff got completely ignored. I just posted all of that stuff got completely ignored because nobody here is talking about 5G.
So what do you think? 5G's dead?
They think so, but this is absolutely not the time to start digging a grave for 5G. It's like absolutely the worst time to be doing that.
Right.
Could 5G have a grave site right next to IoT? Could they be buried next to each other?
It could. I think it's really more about intent, but I'll tell you right now, I don't think a particular country is thinking that they're going to do that, and so I don't think it's a particularly good idea for the rest of us to do things like that and do that.
Yeah.
But 5G is kind of in execution mode, right? 5G is in execution mode. It's not a product announcement story anymore.
Yeah. Right.
It's all new.
Are you talking? But are you talking about 5G as a private network or as a global network?
No, just a global network. Global network. The private stuff really has a challenge, and the hype has just completely been deflated there. I think a lot of folks who really banked on it last year have gotten I mean, they went through the rude awakening and some of them were getting hurt, right? There was some big investments that we're counting on, some big numbers turning out, and we're finding out that none of that stuff is true. And, last year we talked about this stuff, right? We said, hey, private networks 5G networks are going to face the IoT economics, and it's going to be really hard for folks to translate, macro network economics down to like these much more constrained and smaller private network situations. And geez,
right.
Come on.
So if 5G is dead, and
watch
satellites are dead, and IoT is dead, and NTN is dead, what is not dead?
You know what's left?
5G advanced.
AI, of course. AI, of course.
Yeah, of course. But if you work in the marketing department for Huawei, we've got 5.5G.
That's it.
5.5G.
Yeah. No, but
yeah, probably not exactly 5G advanced. But hi, everyone.
Hello.
Hey.
Coming to you from Auburn, Alabama.
Oh wow! Auburn.
Yeah, some go to Barcelona, others go to Auburn, Alabama for the week.
Go.
You have a kid going to college there?
My son is a junior here, yeah. So we visit him. We take a week every semester to visit him here.
Is that the War Eagles?
Yeah, that's right. War Eagle.
Go War Eagle. All right, there you go.
Good job.
Well, knowledge of college football is important on this show, which everyone will learn when they come this summer to the IoT Coffee Talk conference in Las Vegas, where they're going to get the real story about everything.
We're going to talk about IoT, 5G, satellite, IoT
ridiculous
Central.
things like Industry 5.0, maybe Industry 5.5.
5.5 maybe. 5.
Yeah, why not? Yeah.
You mean 4.5? Isn't it 4.5?
Well, if you can have 5.5 for cellular, why not IoT?
I think so. Oh, look at Bill. He's looking dapper.
Wow.
Well, you got to do it every now and then, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh,
no, I'm out here in Orlando at Distributech.
Oh, you are?
Oh,
yeah.
Wow. Keeping it real.
That's right. We were all at Distributech in San Diego last year, right?
There's no other way. You have to keep it real.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, I have a question for all of you guys. There was a particular someone on LinkedIn that accused us of not having done shit. What do you guys say to that?
Yeah, I know that guy.
And I invited him on the show to show us how much we don't know what the fuck we're talking about. So, what do you guys think?
What he was saying is that we have not worked in manufacturing and supply chain, right? So if you look at myself, right, I worked for many, many years for a manufacturer, right? But how many of those years did I work in manufacturing or in supply chain per se, or deal with supply chain issues, etc.? I think that's where he was getting at.
You know what? If you watch what this person posts all over LinkedIn, you'll notice that he's an unhappy person.
Don't feed the trolls.
Yeah, does not have anything nice to say ever about anybody. So yeah, it's not good. Yeah. No, you're right. There's trolls out there.
I personally have a lot of experience in supply chains, having done supply chain transformation, and I have a lot of experience working with manufacturing companies, setting up their system.
Yeah.
There you go. So I don't do it anymore because I want to move on to better things. Huh?
Sorry, does everybody have an issue? I can't understand what Leonard is saying.
Leonard's kind of garbled.
Oh.
Those iPods. iPods
I thought it was
aren't very good.
Never mind.
He needs to upgrade.
Off that Apple stuff, man.
You need to upgrade.
Leonard, if face the camera, I can read your lips.
Yeah.
There you go.
You need
That's it.
I won't say anything.
Sony.
No, that's good. That's perfect.
Like the Sony MX whatever thing. That's the real good stuff.
Those are better. Those are better.
Yeah. So, Bill, what's going on with Distributech? What's that event all about?
So, do you know that they have 2 tracks going on, right? So, Distributech is the largest utility conference worldwide. The thing that they did this year that's totally different is, number one, they're focusing heavily on electrification. Number 2, they're tying their utility track to a city track.
Okay.
And I've heard, so I just got through chairing 2 sessions all around the use of synthetic data and digital twins, and how someone said it, you cannot have a smart city without having a smart grid.
Oh, really?
I just asked, I said, where'd you hear that at?
People just say stuff. And it's because they know if you say it enough times, most people are sheep and they'll believe it. They're like, oh,
hey,
yeah. And they'll echo it.
It's a real thing. But no, it's an amazing, I mean, it's an amazing event. 30,000 people.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's big.
30. Yeah. 30.
Yeah.
That's,
I mean, I think there's a real resurgence in people wanting to get out there and get into these events. You know, I think I'm going to be at the NVIDIA GTC in March.
Wow.
Okay.
That's going to be a packed house.
Yeah.
In San Jose.
Oh, you know it will.
So I think a lot of these events, there's a resurgence of folks getting in there, whether it's Leonard in Barcelona, who's apparently left to have some more wine.
Yeah.
Or where Bill is at, or the Bay Area. I think there's going to be some hot tickets this year at some of these events. So that's exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is this the first time GTC is in person since COVID?
I think they did it last year, kind of hybrid-y.
Yeah.
But they will have some online sessions this year, but I'll be down there in person.
I've been attending online since COVID, and they were brilliant, but I think I've registered, I already made my plan now, also online. But I think some of the sessions are not offered online because I could not select.
I know. Well, same with MWC. Leonard's not here, but I don't know if anyone saw Brad Smith's keynote at MWC about AI principles and Microsoft's principles around AI, and he made some really interesting analogies of AI to the printing press and stuff like that. I thought it was pretty well put together. Obviously, it's a talk he's given before, but I thought it was kind of interesting to use the stage to talk about that sort of thing. But
hey, Tom, welcome back, bro.
Long time no see, Tom.
I know, it's been a while. How you doing? You okay?
We're good. It's good to see you.
Good.
I thought I'd come on. I had a free moment. I'm going on holiday, vacation tomorrow.
You're going on holiday? I looked in my diary, and it sounds right here that I have holiday. Yes,
that's right. So I basically had some free time, so I thought I'd jump on. And in celebration of the 10,000th, is it the 10,000th episode?
Yeah. 10,000 of the podcast, the audio.
Episode not yet, not the 10,000 episode yet.
Not 10,000 episodes, but you're right. But we are close.
10,000 downloads, right?
Right. 10,000 sounds great. Anyway, whatever it is, it's great. It's good to be back. Hope you're keeping well, everyone.
But we're getting very close to our 200th episode, though, which will be coming up very soon. So that's exciting for sure. We'll have to do something crazy for that. Wow. So, and you're having a birthday, right?
It's my birthday on Monday. Yeah, that's right. Thank you for liking the post.
Absolutely. I'm here for you, man.
So March 4th?
March 4th. Yeah, March 4th. Yeah.
I heard a rumor that you won't be I heard a rumor you won't be a young man anymore.
Well, I'm 39 on Monday, so it's my last year of being in the 30s. Yeah, so I've got to make it worthwhile, right?
That's right.
But I'm looking forward to it. Who doesn't?
What's going on in your world of IoT and everything? Anything exciting?
So, yeah, I guess so. So we're just filming season 5 of the podcast. So we've had some great people on. We just shot with Codasip. So if you guys remember Ron Black, ex-Rambus, etc. So Ron's over at Codasip. So we shot with him yesterday. Codasip, a really interesting business around Cherry, their initiative on how to stop kind of memory attacks. And actually the business is really cool, what they're doing. So it's kind of like a kind of RISC-V similar concept. And an old friend of mine that's a security architect that I've known for years from the pay TV industry.
Yeah.
We also shot with Eric Bowman, who is the current CTO of TomTom, but is moving on. So we did a shoot with him. And a little closer to home, we did one with I've forgotten the chap's name now, but with Silicon Labs in Austin.
Oh, yeah, we know those guys.
Yeah. So we shot with Silicon Labs, which was really cool. Great business. We actually work with them as well, right? So we provide them resources and stuff. So so I guess it's kind of busy, really, and it's nice to be talking to people and filming again.
Absolutely. So, are you in Florida? Or where are you now?
Still in the UK. So last year was pretty tough for a lot of people in technology. Yeah, last year was pretty tough. It was tough for us, if I'm being frank. The predominant source of our business and income is derived from staffing, right? So when people are making layoffs, obviously it's difficult to keep the lights on. So we kind of put it aside for a year. But in general, I think things are picking up, right? There seems to be a bit more confidence out there. Announcements.
It's a new year, and we know it's going to be better this year, and it's different somehow. We're going to believe that.
Yeah.
No more layoffs. Oh, I just heard Expedia is doing layoffs. All right, whatever.
Well, I think the thing is, so I caught Pete just before he left talking about, obviously, conferences. So I think the conferences and the trade shows, obviously MWC is on right now. I think they're usually a good precursor to these things. So, are the salespeople selling stuff? Are people buying things? Is the wheels keeping to move, right? So it'll be interesting to see the outcome of some of the conferences and announcements that happen in coming weeks, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So, Jan, what's going on with you in the Industry 4.0 world?
What's going on? So, we just had one of our live streams yesterday on LoRaWAN, which was kind of interesting. We had actually one of my colleagues on from one of our acquisitions, YC Systems, that are doing LoRaWAN on like a lot of the customers are like oil and gas, water, wastewater, large areas. And they have also for in factory and oil and gas, they have an intrinsically safe LoRaWAN solution. That's very interesting. But it's a topic that we don't talk a lot about. Typically when we talk about IoT, it's either Wi-Fi or Ethernet or it's cellular, right?
Yeah.
So this is actually, it's not a perfect solution for everything because it's low bandwidth. You gotta really focus on specific things you want to collect, but it's a very interesting technology that is growing. And it's a very new technology too. So very, very interesting session there. Got some good information about what to do and how to start up with that. And then Ira Sharp, he couldn't attend yesterday. He had a conflict, so I had one of our other co-founders on. But we're starting up here again for the year with Manufacturing Future, and we're looking a little bit on various different topics. This month here was like IoT connectivity, and I think Rob, you kind of stole a little bit of a thunder with Teal on your previous session that you posted. So we're going to do something similar, but now we're going to find something else to do. I think because we don't want to.
I'm an advisor to Teal, so it's unfair.
Yeah, exactly. So, but we have some other things we want to look at as well. And then right now here in March, April, all the different conferences are coming up. So we're going to talk a little bit about those. We typically have a partnership with IoT World on Hanover Messe, so we're going to work with them on that.
That's good. When you bring up LoRaWAN, an Industry 4.0 or manufacturing. And I'm sure a lot of people kind of scratch their head because you're right. You think about higher volumes of data coming from machines and PLCs and things like that. And you wonder if there's a fit or a place for LoRaWAN in that world.
But if you think about, like a large water, wastewater, somebody have to go out and test something, on the truck instead of putting a little sensor up and you get some data. Yeah. I mean, just the fact you're talking about up to 10-mile range.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really uncommon for any other technology except cellular. So it has some interesting potential as long as you can live with a low bandwidth.
That's a good point.
Is there anything new happening in LoRa? Because I know you mentioned the word new earlier, and
the latest I heard is that they now have like the capability of a repeater. So you have typically get devices with LoRaWAN, and then you have gateways. But now if you have a obstruction or larger than 10 miles or whatever, you can put I think they call it a repeater in between. That basically just take the signal from the sensor and send it on to the gateway. So that's a new technology that they just put in standard, I guess.
That's very correct. I experimented with this last summer a little bit. So there is now a setup you can make on those. So you can multiply actually all those little devices with little batteries, and they will create real mesh network that is not only based on clients but also based on repeaters. So it's actually pretty cool.
Yeah, I think that.
Yeah, and then the other thing to think about too is that it's low power, right? So you can give a guy a sensor in a little box and send him out to his normal location. He just put it in, put a temperature sensor in where he needs, and don't have to worry about getting power pulled or anything like that. So and you can have, based on the low bandwidth, you can have potentially 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 8 years of battery life depending on the sensor and the data, right? So cool technology.
And did you see the Rack Wireless sticker tracker? So they made a sticker, like a proper sticker that you just stick it on the product that you want, and I think it has like 1 month of battery life, but the battery it's in the sticker, so it's pretty amazing.
Cool.
Is that like a supply chain thing? You put it on your package and it'll at least track it for the period of its shipping or something like that. That's cool.
I love that.
And that's disposable trackers. They are pretty cheaper than normal, but the battery, it's not that long. But
there's a friend of mine who's the CEO of a company that does thin film batteries that are flat, kind of like, and to power a package. It's cool stuff, no doubt about it. And last year, I participate in these oil and gas events, whether it's a digitalization or this carbon tracking thing. And I talk about using the LoRaWAN repeater to daisy chain, when you're in a very, very remote location, maybe even more remote than LoRa can reach. You can imagine like a natural gas pipeline, an oil pipeline, or something way out in the middle of nowhere, and creating repeaters to keep hopping back to a place where maybe you have regular internet or something like that. Sounds really valuable to have that repeater.
And then the other thing to think about too is that it wouldn't really work for oil and gas, but there are open public LoRaWAN systems being built right now. So if you're in a rural, or not rural, if you're in the city area, right now, what they're looking at, for example, is like meter readings. You got to have a reading per day. Instead of having to set up gateways, you now set up something that covers a whole city or town or whatever, right?
I'm having flashbacks to helium.
I sound some echoes, and probably Leonard is trying to connect now to Zoom.
Yeah.
I was having flashbacks to WiMAX.
So. Oh, there you go.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yes, I think we talked about that.
I think it just, my mind seriously went straight back to 2010 when I visited some facilities in Massachusetts that were using WiMAX for metering. And
there was a lot of talk early on about using WiMAX to connect offshore drilling rigs. Whether it's in the North Sea or in the Gulf of Mexico or whatever, to have that connectivity, high-speed connectivity to get it back to shore. lots of trials, things happened, and then WiMAX kind of died, and LTE won that battle. But Sprint, went all in on WiMAX. Sprint bet heavy on WiMAX, and it didn't work out.
For sure. You see, LoRa is not new, and it has survived because of the value proposition, right?
Well, that's an interesting topic. Why did LoRa survive? Why did Sigfox have problems, and LoRa did not have those same problems, even though they're very similar technologies? Was it the business model?
No, absolutely not. I think that it's the target audience. So Sigfox, it's a global network, right? And LoRa one has been thought, or the inception is for private networks. So I think the model is completely different. The target audience is different.
It's much more, open source mesh networks, local, and you can, buy all those kind of little things. I experimented with a bunch of them with a little battery, and you can build a little local network. I'll build one for emergency response. In case of a disaster, I do some volunteering in my community for that. So I have a little box, 6 or 7 of them. And if we have a disaster and need to coordinate teams, we just can put them around and we can communicate between teams. It's basic messaging. So it's very flexible and super easy to use. So there's a lot of, I think it's probably a fragmented use case thing. So it might never become kind of a global, everybody, one big network, but a lot of little networks are very effective for that.
Yeah, it definitely has the specific purposes. So it's not a generic use for, like Rob was saying, if you have a lot of data going through it, and you definitely can't share like images or video or whatever, and anything like that, right? But if you have a specific, use case with low bandwidth data that's hard to get to because of distance or power, it's a perfect solution.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. And I don't want to start a discussion about what is open source or not from Sigfox versus LoRa, but it's interesting where the IP is in one, it's on the hardware, and the other is in the cloud. So it's interesting models.
Sorry, LoRa has survived in the context of comparing to 3GPP technologies, right? With NB-IoT.
Yeah.
Was before NB-IoT. Now it is.
I'm surprised that Dimitri hasn't just chimed in to just remind us all that both the Sigfox and LoRa technology originated in France.
Is Sigfox still a thing?
They changed their name, or they got acquired?
Sigfox.
It's still in use, right?
Remember when they were going out of business? Yeah.
Sigfox was acquired by the Taiwanese and Singapore operator called Unavis.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. So Unavis is a successful hardware manufacturer, mostly focused on Sigfox devices, but as well on other technologies. So they have now Sigfox as another network where they can provide you products or
I think it's
connected products that you want.
The fact, just talking about Sigfox at Mobile World Congress, because many of us were there many years ago when Sigfox was launched, and the CEO was there, and he announced this big 50 million euro, investment and everything. And that guy, I don't know, did he think he was like trying to be like Steve Jobs, or he was kind of crazy, maybe a little bit, he was going to take over the world. Similar chirp technologies. One group said, we're going to build equivalent of mobile operators and mobile network kind of things, like, in a way. Other one got bought, and ended up north of Los Angeles, and they didn't do that, and they just sold chipsets to people. And LoRaWAN was something that, Venki and all those guys, in Amsterdam kind of did the power to the people building the Things network. And it was a different path. It was stringing a network together, but it was free, and it wasn't trying to, be a big business. And so some people use LoRaWAN, but a lot of people don't. They just use LoRa and built. If I'm in the middle of nowhere, I need to create connectivity. I can build my own private network. If I'm on a farm or a ranch or big area, I can do that. And so they didn't have to keep a giant company in business, like Sigfox was trying to get, And maybe that's part of the difference there. I don't know.
Well, in the end, you have to build infrastructure. So if you try to build a global infrastructure, the cost of entry is extremely high, and then you're dependent on the operators to succeed or not. So if you kind of crowdsource that with those little local mesh devices, you resolve the problem. So that's why the use cases are probably limited to closed environments, that local environments that want to do things, but it's very flexible. You can spin up, those things are $20. So you buy 100 of them is $2,000, and you have a good network for a certain area. So you don't need to wait on your operator building Gen 1, Gen 2, Gen 3, Gen 5 that become obsolete and all these kind of things. So I think it's a very different approach to networking, which is the decentralized and mesh, as opposed to a centralized universal, which is the battle that we are probably seeing here. Right. And the argument would be that we probably need more global centralized network. They are enough. They can fight. They fight against between each other, and we just want dumb pipes for that. But for local infrastructure, it's better. So I think it's
this is why I don't know who asked about the 5G on the Mobile World Congress, if 5G was dead or not on this edition. I saw a lot of companies enabling for private 5G, and I think maybe this will be one of the success stories of the 5G, that enables to create private networks. So that as far as I understood, that was not possible with other technologies, right?
I think we touched on that.
Technologies.
We touched on that in the beginning of the podcast, but it doesn't seem to be happening. I don't know why. I suspect it's the cost, because I think the cost of even if you have to build it yourself locally, it's pretty expensive. And that's the problem you don't have with LoRa. Of course, it's totally different use cases.
Yeah, it's a completely different. It's a completely different use case. But I can agree that maybe the cost is.
And the thing that always scared me with the 5G kind of private is the biggest value prop is really security. And once you start with security, it's never a good business model, because security is always. If you want to make money, you put it at the end because it's expensive. You don't never put it first, except if you're a government type of agency. So that's the shaky in the value prop element. Yeah, I'm a hacker. I'd love to put security first. But the reality of the world is no, security first is dead too.
Yeah, I would say, we discussed private networks, I think, at length over the last couple of years that I've joined our IoT Coffee Talk. And probably if Leonard were still here, he would say, no, it's not going anywhere. But I think it's about timing, right? It's about timing. I think, 5G needed a few new developments in order to make it. It is affordability for sure, but I think there's some architectural flexibility that it's required for 5G. So now that we have this year, we're seeing 5G standalone launched. We've seen in the last, 6 months, I can't recall exactly, but network slicing becoming a reality with, proper management of resources. We're seeing Open RAN. We're seeing, edge computing to take different forms, because you got to have that for private networks, right? You can't rely on everything being centralized. So I think the architecture and the materializing of new architectural principles is going to create opening for private networks. That's my take on things.
Yeah, and you're right. We did private LTE. Ericsson was selling private LTE a long time ago. The problem was you could buy all the gear, but you still had to connect with the mobile operator and have them carve out some spectrum for you, which is not easy to do. They don't want to do that, and it would cost a lot of money. And so it just never went anywhere, probably because of the expense, private fight. You're right. We've talked about CBRS and all that other kind of stuff at length, no doubt about it. I had a lot of feedback. I was just kind of talking about private 5G versus Wi-Fi 7. Wi-Fi 7 is going to have like 47 gigabit speeds. It's insane how fast it is. And so my personal take, to plant a stake in the ground, because I don't want to be wishy-washy and in the middle, Wi-Fi will continue to dominate. And it will dominate not just because it's faster and more bandwidth, but because of familiarity and cost. Yeah, everybody knows Wi-Fi. You have Wi-Fi at your house. Every company has Wi-Fi. Every factory has Wi-Fi. Every corporate campus has access points. It's the incumbent. It's already there. Everybody knows it. It's hard to dislodge something. You have to have something that's a lot better, 5x better, 10x better, faster, cheaper, whatever, to dislodge something that's already in place that provides that same solution.
It's a bit like Betamax and VHS, right?
Yeah. One can be better than the other, but
and to your point, well, Rob, I think I also have a great point, which it's probably a big part of the answer. If you add the friction on having to deal with getting access to spectrum, just forget it, because this is extremely complicated. So if you operate on spectrums which are defined and open, like in Wi-Fi and actually in LoRa, you're fine. You don't need any more frequency. Now you might reach saturation at some point, but if you have to, I didn't know that because I'm not a specialist on LTE, but I didn't know that if you have to have this carving of spectrum between the different users, this is too much friction. It's awful.
But it's almost, if you look at your home Wi-Fi network and you put your router in, you always have your own network and then you have a guest network. Yeah. So from a manufacturer perspective, that almost have to be a standard. So if I, as an OEM, come in with a piece of equipment, if there's a low friction way for me to connect and get my data back without having the company IT all over me, whatever, right? But right now, that's the problem, right? That's why we go with cellular, because that's low friction. I go in, I don't have to talk to anybody. I'm getting my data back and don't have to worry about it. But for Wi-Fi to be successful for OEMs, you almost have to have that similar, hey, we have our own Wi-Fi network on the plant, and then we have I don't know what you want to call it, but something that you can connect to, and it doesn't connect back to our network. It just completely separates everything, and you can get your data into your cloud or whatever you want to do, right?
I gotcha. So friction is the key word there. People don't like.
This is not news. Friction is not dead, for sure.
Friction will always be with us.
Whenever you have friction, you have problem in the business model. That's what.
Yeah, that's so true. That's so true. It's funny, John, when you're talking about a separate guest network or cellular to bypass the existing network, whatever. A good example of that in software was the rise of SaaS software from Salesforce.com. They were the first ones to do it. They bypassed the IT department, all those architects who said, we're going to decide which software we allow to use. And all of a sudden with SaaS, they went right to the sales guys and sold to them. And that was revolutionary in the way it could bypass the friction of a IT.
No, absolutely. I remember in one of my previous employments, don't want to mention name here, but we went to SAP, and at the time, probably still, the SAP CRM sucked. And so the sales guys just went ahead and got a couple licenses for Salesforce, and that's what they were using.
Yeah.
By the way, Salesforce didn't invent that. In the early analytics days, we were doing the same. As long as you had a network plug and an Oracle username and account, you had those boxes, what it was, Netizza, that you were connected to them, they were sucking the data, and then they were giving you an analytics, locally in a local department. So whenever there is a way for people to do their job without going after IT, they just do it. Now, Salesforce do it at scale by using the idea of the cloud, but the idea fundamentally was not new. If I can get the data in Excel, it was the same thing. People were downloading data from mainframes, putting in Excel and start writing macros and doing applications. So it's all over again, the same story.
So unrelated to anything, but I have to do this because I just spent the weekend. My oldest son just got married. So there's Nick.
Congratulations.
Yeah. So that's he just got married over the weekend. So that was a lot of fun.
You look good in a suit, Rob.
Well, I'm trying, You're
gonna climb the next step of being older soon when we can call you Grandpa Rob.
Oh, God.
Yeah, what? It's coming,
Oh, my God.
It's coming.
Can I introduce one of the topics of the IoT Stars speakers dinner?
Yeah.
So one of the topics at the end of the dinner was about the Cyber Resilience Act of this European law that is going to appear very soon. that talks about that all the IoT products or all the connected products needs to have a level of cybersecurity and involves like security for the data, but as well for the user, and as well that the device needs a product life cycle. And then the other topic was more related with politics. And someone in the dinner mentioned that if Trump wins the election, what Europe is going to do is to ban any company to send data from Europe users to the US. And that create like a big conflict. So, So what do you think? How do you see from the US this possibility?
You don't
Good luck with that first.
Second?
Go ahead, Dimitri.
I said good luck with that first. When you're going to cut the internet. I mean, the problem with European laws that they are interesting, but they don't go far enough into it. I mean, I did a whole, one of my vacation item is I went to a security conference in Finland, and I did a whole talk about the danger of Gen AI and data collecting on democracies. And one aspect is people say, oh no, but we have regulation, we are safer. Yeah, well, good luck with that. We can talk about that. The regulation
cell.
You know, I mean, regulations are basically that, you know, we did fire extinguisher when we had fire. We put seatbelt when people start dying in cars. So we just react after, but we don't see 3 or 4 steps forward. So
that's a good point.
That's my initial reaction on that. And we can actually elaborate on that. I have some very interesting points about GDPR and Gen AI things.
I have really crude sounding, very American comments to make on that are actually just reality. Every time the EU decides to put in some new regulation or whatever, because it's basically they just hate that America has all the tech companies. I hate to say it, it sounds so evil. And they're just going to put in regulation that, and you're right, let's just go all the way and cut off and have no data going from Europe to America. All that's going to happen, America could give a shit, is the reality. It could care less. All that will happen is Europe will just further isolate itself and be an island and have access to nothing, is if all the guys in Brussels have their way to keep doing that, to protect everyone in Europe. I get the idea. I understand, you know, there's a lot of crazy shit happening. But you know, you always have these unintended consequences, you know?
Protect from what? So Marc, was that a serious comment? You think?
Oh, well, because people want to shut down. I mean, there's different states in the United States that want to shut down Facebook or Twitter or TikTok because they think it's having a negative impact on young people. And there may be evidence to, you know, Instagram is making young girls sad because it's all just pretty girls on there and they feel like I can't be like that. I mean, there's news like that all the time.
Well, you know, parenting is hard, but I think we need to focus on that.
Yeah,
no matter what. Parenting.
You're right. You're right.
That's my answer.
Yeah, better parenting. I agree. What are you thinking, Jan?
I said they haven't heard of VPNs.
VPN. There you go. That's what we use in China.
I was surprised when my teenagers started talking about VPN and said, "You know what a VPN is?" Yeah, of course.
Ooh. Isn't that interesting?
But I think I said that story. My wake up moment is when my 10-year-old girl, who's not interested in tech at all, but loved to play games, came home one day and said, "Dad, we need to open a hole in the firewall."
Wow. Wow.
It's a good point though, right? Because you spoke earlier about Wi-Fi being the predominant technology. You know, kids know about VPNs because they're playing online gaming or they're watching free movies, you know?
Yeah.
So that's why they know about this stuff, because it's in the mainstream. They have to learn it. They have to understand it.
You're right.
You know?
Yeah. It's a door opener, right?
Yeah.
For that. It's a door opener. Kids are going to learn this stuff.
Yeah, I think in North Carolina, the sale of VPN went up like crazy just last month because North Carolina shut off Pornhub.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
So, yeah, VHS versus beta,
That's what we're saying here. Kids are not learning about this tech in school or going to a special. They're learning it from their friends because they want to get to things. They want to sneak away, get through the walls, get to, okay. All right. Yeah.
But VPNs are like the modern day equivalent of burning your own CD on LimeWire or Napster, right?
Yeah.
If you look at the influencers on YouTube, because we do quite a lot of analytics about kind of like what people are interested in, most of the paid ads are for ExpressVPN or NordVPN, right?
Yes.
Which is two of the largest VPN providers. So there's clearly a demand, and that's why it's so prevalent in the mainstream, because it's just being pumped down people's throats all the time.
Yeah, I always hear ads like on the radio or on XM or whatever for NordVPN all the time. All the time. So people know about it. Yeah.
I run NordVPN for legitimate reasons, I like to add.
Well, there is a cybersecurity aspect of it that you also need to think about for sure. So, yeah.
No, you're right.
Yeah, but the mainstream demand is driven by being able to be located somewhere else to get better airline ticket or access better content on Netflix. That's the one of the main reasons why the youngsters want to have that. So.
Well, or pay the lowest price for YouTube membership. I've heard that among kids in Europe.
I'll give you another example. Because you're right. In order to watch a certain program or to buy a certain thing, you need to appear like you're somewhere else. And so you might VPN to another country and have a proxy where it looks like you live in that country in order to watch a certain program on TV or to buy something. My son was involved in, the whole sneaker thing, all the rare, they do a drop on the new sneakers like Yeezys or Air Jordans and stuff like that. And they're very expensive. And apparently the way things would go around the world, it's like they would allocate so many number of these sneakers, tennis shoes in different countries. And so these kids would use VPN proxies to look like they live in Singapore or Hong Kong or different places so that they could buy these items as if they live in those countries and then be able to get them, because the allocation for the US may only be this big.
Which is a great example on how retailers are stupid, because the constraint should be where you ship, not for where you buy.
They're kind of stupid, aren't they? Yeah.
Seriously.
Absolutely.
I mean, by stupid, I mean they don't understand the impact of digital technology. I mean, be positive on that. Because if they would say, oh, yeah, now wherever you buy from, I cannot control. So what can I control? I can control, I can ship. At least you can always, but at least you're making the bar much higher if you control where you ship.
Because lots of e-commerce sites are basically just checking IP ranges to find out where you're coming from.
By the way, if you use GoDaddy, I was in Finland, impossible to connect to their website without having a front page in Finnish. So they assume that if you're in a country, you speak the language of the country. So if somebody from GoDaddy is listening to the show, please reach out because it's pretty stupid.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I've seen that before. I've been on Google or different things when I'm in different countries, and it just assumes that I speak that language, and it's based on IP addresses. They just say, oh, you're coming from here.
Usually you have a little thing in the corner where you can choose your country. Couldn't find.
Yeah. All right, everybody. We got to take off. People have to go live their lives and make real money, do business and stuff like that. So thanks for joining us for IoT Coffee Talk Mobile World Congress Edition 2024. Much love from Marc in Barcelona with IoT Stars. Sounds like it was a big success, as always.
Absolutely.
Great stuff. So thanks for joining us. And exciting, thanks for supporting our podcast, wherever you listen to us. Over 10,000 downloads. So that's exciting. So we're going. Much love. We will see you next time. We are out.